Okay.
First thing, can you say and spell your first and last name for me, and give me a title for you as well, please?
Pat Hendrix, P-A-T-H-E-N-D-R-I-X. I'm the Chief of Police and Interim City Manager for the City of Troup, Texas.
Okay. First thing, I appreciate you taking time and speaking with me. So, there's some information you feel like some of the Smith County voters need to know in regards to a case. Can you briefly explain what the case was and your involvement and Mr. Smith's involvement?
Well, the case was a capital murder case in 1999. The defendant's name was Newton Anderson. He has since been put to death for this capital murder case. I first heard of this case as far as Mr. Smith's concerned at a debate at the Nazarene Church out on Spur 248. During the debate, Mr. Smith started talking about his investigative role in this case. I was the lead investigator in the case. I worked the case all the way through. I was quite shocked to hear him say that he was out there investigating this case. After the debate, I went to Mr. Green and told him that I do not remember Larry Smith being on my capital murder crime scene back in 1999. Later on, they had another debate, and Mr. Green confronted Mr. Smith on that fact, and there was some sparring going on. And that's what debates are about. I understand that. Why I'm here speaking to you today is later on in this campaign, if you will, I got a letter, handwritten letter, written to my home, addressed to my home, mailed to me from Ann Fleming. And in that letter, it stated that there were some allegations by Mr. Green about Mr. Smith and him being deceptive in his roles in some major crimes. Well, capital murder case is the highest that it goes. So high profile major crime, that's what this is. And in the letter, it basically says that Mr. Smith was there and has documentation of that fact, and that the allegations Mr. Green made were false. So the reason I'm talking to you today is because I'm the one that made those allegations. I'm the one that told Chris Green that Larry Smith was not there. In fact, I went as far as doing open records requests with the sheriff's office that I used to work for and retired from for 20 years. This case happened March the 4th of 1999, so it's a while back. I get the reports, I go through this with a fine-tooth comb. Everybody that's involved, anybody that even thought about coming to the crime scene was documented in this report. I've also done an open records request for the DA's office, but hadn't yet received that and fixing to go out of town, so I felt like I needed to speak now before I leave town. I won't return until the election day. So the gist of this is I'm the one that told Chris Green that Larry Smith wasn't there. Chris Green uses that at the next debate, at I believe a Grassroots of America debate, and then May the 18th I get this nasty letter saying that Mr. Green made false allegations, that he was actually there and he investigated it. Well, I'm here to say, as the lead investigator, 20-year veteran of the sheriff's office, member of the FBI task force when I was there, U.S. Customs Task Force, U.S. Marshals Task Force, Homicide Investigators Association, that all the evidence that I have, Mr. Smith was not there. And I'm rebuting Ms. Fleming's statement, basically saying that Chris lied, because this is a report, and anybody can do an open records on this case and look at it and see that there's nowhere in this case is Mr. Smith on my crime scene at any time during the entire case. So that's what I wanted to say to the voters. You know, do some investigations. Don't depend on somebody that has a dog in the hunt to do the investigation. Do your own investigation. And anybody can get a copy of this capital murder case. All they have to do is fill out an open records request, and it's very detailed on every single person involved. There's probably 10, 15 officers named in this report that had something to do with this case, and none of those names are Larry Smith. And I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention before this election, because it's an important election.
It is, and it's one that I know that a lot of folks are watching. So the big thing is you feel like the Smith County voters need to be aware that maybe there's some deception going on here.
Well, I would say that, like I said, I hadn't got anything back from the DA's office yet. You know, Mr. Smith may have testified that there was a fire or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that he didn't testify to something, but I'm saying at the debate he's talking about the investigation and boots on the ground. In the first 48 hours, he wasn't there. I believe even Chief Deputy Bobby Gorman confronted him on one of the debates and basically told him he wasn't there because Chief Gorman was there as a supervisor of the sheriff's office. I think he may, I'm not calling Larry Smith a liar, but he may have embellished his involvement in the investigation of this capital murder, or he did embellish his involvement in the investigation part of this capital murder case.
I think that's great. I think you did a great job of explaining it. Now, one of the things that they asked up at the station whenever they'd found out that you were going to be willing to speak with us was possibly there was a concern that apparently Green said if he was elected he might have you as part of his team. Somebody, you know, how
Yes.
would you address that?
Well, I will say this. Both candidates, they're still in this election, have both asked me at one point if I would be interested in being part of their administration. Mr. Smith and Mr. Green. Both of them at the time, I thought, once you're elected, you know, come back and we'll talk. But there's no, the reason I'm here is because the man took credit for my capital murder case that I was the lead investigator on. And that Ms. Fleming comes out with this vicious letter, you know, calling Green a liar and basically calling me a liar because I'm the one that told Green that he wasn't there in the first place. But yes, both candidates have expressed at some point interest in me being part of their administration at the sheriff's office. I have no plans on leaving Troup, Texas at this time.
That's great. I think you've been very eloquent in this. Do you have anything else at all that you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you about?
Well, like I said, I want people to understand why the chief of police of Troup, Texas is involved or getting involved. It has to do with honor and integrity. And when I feel like this attack on Mr. Green is, in a way, an attack on me because I'm the one that gave him the information that he wasn't there. And, you know, my stint in the United States Marine Corps, my 20 years for the Sheriff's Office, and my 6 years down here as Chief of Police is important for everybody to know that, you know, integrity is important to me and it should be important to the next sheriff of this county. And if somebody's up there saying that, you know, they took part in this investigation on this capital murder case and didn't, you know, that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay.